Hey everyone, Studfit here. We have another episode of The Rundown. This is the climax of the autumn tour, finishing up with, unfortunately, a versus tour, but it is a tour. It is has a lot of free stuff. We have a lot of things going on, and of course, we are enjoying the rundown. We're going to continue doing the rundown. There's no letting off the gas. I'm going to have fun this year with you guys. I know some people have stepped off away from YouTube. And even step away from the game. But I love this game. I think this game is getting better and better every day. And I just get more and more excited as we get new hitboxes. We get all this fun stuff. So I am not letting down if you want to be a part of a community that is having some fun. And it's so fun to see our server this past week. It's been on fire. It's been I've been actually away for work. And so I apologize. This is now coming out pretty late. I think we're recording this my time Friday evening for Antilev here, who is our guest. I think it's 2 a.m. there for you. So we are going to try to keep the energy high. Got some coffee here, but before we get to any of that, Antilev, thank you for joining as my co-host this episode.
Yes, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome.
Very excited.
So tell everyone who doesn't know who you are. I know you do some stuff in Carlos's server. That's how I think I was familiar with you. But you've even, now you're mod for Sammy's channel too. So tell everyone who hasn't met you, your origin story, how you got started in the game, what brings you the most joy, and then anything about yourself, including maybe where you live here, since I mentioned your time zone already.
Yeah, sure. I'm in the Netherlands. I live in Amsterdam. So yeah, it's pretty late at night for me here. But I work late on Friday nights, so I actually only finished work a couple of hours ago. So I might have been asleep already, but also maybe not. So it's not that strange. Yeah, Mario Kart is a bit of a strange one for me because I'm actually in my life I'm mostly like a PC gamer, you know, and Mario Kart was just something Mario Kart Tour, shall we say, is something I downloaded when it came out. I've always been a big Mario Kart fan. I'm pretty old. So I played the original SNES Mario Kart, back in 1992. So I've always been a big fan of the series, but mobile gaming has never really been my thing. I just downloaded it a bit, like something to do on breaks while I'm at work. And so I played, I would say I was either day one player or a tour one player. I don't know if I downloaded the day it came out. But I played mostly casually, gold pass only, not really grinding, not really getting into the data or anything, just something here and there, a couple of minutes for the first few months. And then COVID hit and I put the game down for quite a while because I was then working at home. And I picked it back up in August of 2020. I think it was the Pirate Tour or the LA Tour, not sure, one of those two. Might have been the tail end of the Pirate Tour. And something about it just at that point grabbed me and I started to take it much more seriously. For me, a game is a bit like a good novel. You have to read into it a bit and get like that hook where you go beyond enjoying it, but you like need to keep reading. And so I got to that sort of inflection point with Mario Kart Tour. I was like, all right, I am going to dedicate myself. Dedicate myself, maybe a bit strong, but I am going to
dedicate.
I am going to get into this game. And so, yeah, I made it my goal then. I want to go for ACR top 1000. I had an account that was really pretty bad shape. I think my best cart, for example, at the time was level 4 Silver Bullet Blaster.
Oh, wow.
So, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a little bit more than 1 year ago. So I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do analysis to invest the most efficiently. I started off as Gold Pass only, and now I spend a little bit. I would say I'm like maybe somewhere in the dolphin to whale range. I'm not like a heavy spender, but I buy like maybe, you know, a pack or two every tour. And then I made it my goal to get into top 1000 ACR and then later on top 100. So yeah, my main focus for the game is ACR. I really enjoy it. On the other side, I also have a free-to-play account, which is 7 months old. I started it in Ninja Tour. I mainly started it so my kids could have an account to play on, so they wouldn't mess up my account because they were always wanting to. I guess stuff
stuff you can't do.
But I also really enjoy the free-to-play experience. I've had a lot of good conversations with other experienced free-to-play players, and it's a completely different side of the game. But I really enjoy doing that part as well.
Awesome, man. Well, hopefully you can bring both perspectives to the table. I think as I move forward into this type of episode or future episodes of the Rundown, just gonna probably be mixing it up. Some have some of my Super Stud tier members also having. We have a contest right now, and that's where we'll get to our member community. We have such an awesome member community. Everyone you see on here is a blast. We have so much fun in the Discord server. We also have multiplayer member Mondays, and we've been having a ball. We had full lobbies, and anyway, we have a competition going on this month in November that whoever gets the most points from the multiplayer gets to join me as a co-host for the Rundown. So it's a unique opportunity, but I think also I'd love to have Antilev more often than not, as Antilev, you're probably one of the most data-driven guys I know here in the community. I don't think we'll ever be able to replace Tabor, but I think that there are awesome guys. I think of yourself, Curtis, Jay. These are some guys that just are so data-driven, guys who really understand what's going on much more than I do. I enjoy looking and researching up things, but I'm not the guy crunching the numbers. So I always need, it's always good to have somebody who knows much more about the game and what's going on behind the scenes. And it's always, that's kind of how Tabor has been in this episode. So I like having and capturing some of that as well. But we're just going to have fun. We're going to twist things up. But Antilev, I hope this would be first of many times join us. But lots to get into. We have an awesome member community. Definitely check this out if this is something that you're interested in. Those people that you saw Jeeves hosting the Rundown last time. He's one of our awesome super studs. And I think we'll have many of these in the future. But a lot to get into because we have a lot of pipes, we have a lot of packs, we have a lot of new things, a lot of tickets to throw onto things. And so I think as I'm around the communities, some of the same ones that you are, is everyone has all these tickets now because of Premium Challenge Plus and some of the freebies that we're getting and stuff in the token shop. Everyone's like, oh, I'm taking this to 6. Everyone is just going balls out. So I'm excited for us to kind of break down. Maybe if you have been holding off your tickets for at least 2 or 3 days, maybe we can help kind of take a little deeper look in the meta level strategy behind the game. That's really where the Rundown was born. So let's jump into Pipe 1. We have a Toad versus Toadette Pipe 1, and these are not new Toads or Toadettes. These are things we've seen before. However, I think it's unique in that we have 6 spotlights. 9 high ends for a week 1 pipe is always better. But Antilev, what are your thoughts on this week 1 pipe? Is this one people should be pulling on or holding off for some of the other ones we'll discuss?
Yeah. On first impression, it's not my favorite pipe. I'm not going to pull it on my main or my free play. On my main, I have, I think, all of them except the regular cranky cart and the treasure map, but they don't really add a lot of coverage for me, so I'm not interested in getting them. Both of the clanky carts are pretty tiny for hitbox, so I'm not a big fan of the small carts. Both Toad and Toadette Explorer, I think, pretty good value drivers though. So for the drivers, that's definitely good value. Treasure Map is an excellent glider. I don't have it.
Oh, you don't?
But
okay.
No, I don't have it, but it's a good one. And it's a butterfly prism, or is it what's the name of it?
Yeah, that's the butterfly prism. You got it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure how useful it is, but yeah, it's. I think it depends on your inventory. I have a hard time going into 100 pipes unless there's like some like really superstar items in there, you know. And I don't necessarily see that in this pipe. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's Lev. I think as we walked into this tour, we knew that this yellow, which we'll get to in a second, this yellow pit crew toad was going to be probably the only new driver. So, from that perspective, we could see the different teams, and that's why we knew that. But I think going into all these pipes, we knew that there wasn't going to be like that coveted new driver that sometimes we get, and I think that's what's luxurious about these week 1 pipes is like there's that one character, and it's a brand new character, and you're like excited, and maybe even the skill could be silly like bomb cannon, and you're like, I still have to get it because it's baseball Mario, or it's Waluigi vampire, just like a cool driver.
Yeah, exactly.
So to have these kind of recycled, not my cup of tea. I skipped out on this pipe. And to be honest with you, I'm not really excited about many of the pipes, even the special pipes. But that's just me. I think for me, this is probably more of a saving tour. I think from my thought process is we have all these RT tracks. We have and some of them are double, which I think for all cup ranking is something for us to talk about later because it does give us a unique strategy. For this pipe, though, this is a hard pass for me. I think that the special pipes are going to be even one that I'm going to have to battle with. But I do think that these week 1 pipes that have 9% odds, I saw a lot of people get freebies, and so that part's nice. Having that 9% is always good, but definitely one I'm holding off on. I probably would recommend everyone else to. I think we were expecting this question mark tour to be something epic because last time we had like a question mark tour, we had Shy Guy Ninja, we had Gold King Bob-omb, and instead we get Toad and Toadette. It's like, what is going on? Very anticlimactic in my opinion, but we do have some cool new items, so we'll get right into that. I already alluded to it, the yellow Todd pit crew. We all kind of talked about what skill. If you hadn't heard Kart Talk, we had a fun conversation there. I was pretty high on him having giant banana, and that's why I asked like who all thinks he's gonna have a giant banana, and here he did. I think some were thinking maybe triple bananas, even banana barrel, and I think Sammy was predicting coin box, which certainly could have happened. Anytime you have like a yellow, you're like, oh, it could be anything coin related, banana related. I think what's interesting for me is I'm looking back at if you remember, Gold King Boo came out last autumn. And he was a coin box, and from that perspective, we were like, they were doing something unique there, and I think that they're trying to spark things up again. I think Sammy's thought process on the giant banana, he was saying was, we've been looking forward to a giant banana for so long that he feels like it would be deserving of a high end, but the fact that it's a super does take some strategy. So I don't know have you saved tickets, or how are you going to be approaching Yellow Toad with him being a special ranked reward?
Yeah, so for my main account, I think it's pretty easy, instantaneous level 7 triple cap. If you have the tickets, I don't see any reason not to do that. It's a plus item, and so when we talk about a plus item, we're talking about the items which get a heavier weight in the rankings. And we talk about a plus item, we basically mean any item which you're going to be expected to score higher, get more actions than with coin frenzies. Giant banana is definitely one of the best items in the game, and when you get a super driver to level 7 and 975 base points, that's more or less equivalent from a scoring perspective to a high end that's single uncapped at level 7. So that can take you pretty far, especially considering the extra action counts you get from giant banana. So yeah, I mean, it's always a coin flip investing in a new driver, card, or glider, but it's super tickets, not high-end tickets. So I think if you have the tickets and your account is mature, so we say, and and you don't need to invest in other super drivers. I think you can feel safe in just immediately investing.
So how are you approaching it though with your free-to-play account?
Yeah, that's well. First of all, to see if I'm gonna get it or not, because getting top 3 is a bit of a big ask this week.
Yeah.
But well, for example, one of the standard challenges when you start a new account is getting any driver to level 6. So for that, I did Donkey Kong because he's a super driver and he's got a great skill. So I obviously don't have the tickets to take Yellow Toad if I get him on my free to play immediately to 6 or 7. But I would be favoring him, I would say, heavily. Maybe take a little bit more of a wait and see approach. Just because I don't have the tickets to spend, but I mean, yeah, if he gets some more coverage, and they've been giving a lot more tracks to super drivers lately, you know, think like what is it, a green Zhao guy and blue free running Koopa.
Yeah,
have like 15, 18 tracks, something crazy.
Yeah, no, it's been nice. It's been nice having these supers, and I think that's probably why they've been giving us so many supers this summer, is probably to deplete some of the ticket accessibility. I know I haven't had to use any of those new supers just because of the skill, but I think I have 50 super tickets, driver tickets, so I'll be taking him up. But I think, like, you know, because their skills were never great and they were a super, I just never really got excited. But the fact that he has, it's, you know, we're probably going to have this dilemma, just like how we have with regular Pit Crew Toad, where we're like, you know, do we want the boomerang or do we want the coin box? And the coin box is 1190, and you know, he's only at 975, and so you're going to have these situations. You're going to run into them. I think everyone seems to have a lot of fun with Giant Banana, just getting those extra hits. So hopefully it just brings a lot of energy to the game, and those people who are kind of tired of coin box can get a little bit of a break. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Definitely leave in the comments what your thoughts are on Yellow Toad. Maybe we skimmed over something, but ultimately you got to enjoy this. It's not paywalled. It is something that kind of paywalled in that you do have to earn it. You do have to do well. So it has some exclusivity, but it's not gold pass. So the free players can actually win. And I think, you know, from watching Kevin Garrett's channel and others, definitely check out Kevin. But you know, he kind of takes like this wait and see approach, and kind of hoards some of his resources for moments probably like this, where, you know, he sit on these tickets and you know, for that one moment that he has to win ranked, he has to get somebody. And if that's the case, you know, and some of his friends will go for all like top 100, and they'll save all their tickets. And so, you know, you're kind of going all in. This might be a week to go all in to try to get him. And you know, I think from that perspective, most likely he'll be available next week too, right? In ranked, is that what I understand?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So worst case scenario, if you don't get it this week, you know, focus on next week. Save up your ticket. If you don't have enough tickets to, you know, go all in and win, you might want to even save your tickets for maybe next week and try to go in all in next week to try to get him. Now I know having him will help you next week, so it's gonna be tough. But I think another tough decision you're gonna have to make is which giant hitbox cart that you're more interested in. Would it be the Cactat R or the yellow off-roader? What are your thoughts, Antilev?
So first thing I was gonna say, yellow Pit Crew Toad is actually twice unranked next week. He's top shelf on Toad Circuit RT. He's also top shelf on Sunset Wilds RT. So if you can get tickets into him immediately, he's going to help you on 2 tracks in next week's rank. So it's for that alone, it might be worth it. Looking at those cards, these are both banner cards, right?
These are
both
packs, yeah, they are paywalled, but they're beautiful and they're large.
They both look great. I really like both of them. I'm a huge fan of the off-roader, and I'm a huge fan of the cactus carts. You know, usually when there's like multiple carts coming out in a tour, I usually look at the one which is least likely that people will pull for. So, like in the Kamek Tour, I was really big on the Silver King because I feel like everyone was going into the Kamek Pike to get Kamek, new coin box driver. So they're gonna get his broom, they're gonna get his glider, and then there's this other pipe which is a bit weird with like double dry Bowser and double Bowser Jr. I don't know. And then there was this new card hidden at the bottom, and I was like, you know what? They're gonna buff the hell out of that one because nobody's gonna get it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be true. It's a top card now. Same thing I think with the Rambi Runner. These are both in a 90 ruby pack, paired with a older coin box driver. I don't see anything between them, to be honest. It's a bit of a coin flip for me in that sense. And we can't even see that much from their initial card selection because it's all RTs, which is, I'm not saying RTs is bad, but it doesn't give you, some...
let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on RT tracks in general? I know some have discounted them in the past, but they seem to be much more regular. Now might be a good time to bring that up.
Yeah, so I collect a lot of data on appearance rates, types of tracks for ACR perspective, so not necessarily in ranked, because I think ranked is kind of hard to predict what kind of tracks are going to come. But for just general appearances, going back to the start of the 12 Cup format, the Rosalina Tour, RTs have an appearance rate of roughly 75% of N, R, and T tracks. So it's so the value of an RT coverage is not the same as the value of an NRT, a normal reverse or trick track, but they're also not cities. And I think the way some people talk about them is like RT coverage is worthless. It's not true. They're valuable, and a lot of times they get neglected, and a lot of times those are where the holes in your coverage are. So I don't see them as not valuable. But yeah, that's my take on it. I mean, other people think differently. So
yeah, well, one of our members, Edidal, asks which of the two new pay-to-win cards, the Cactar or the Not Gold Off-Roader, will reign supreme. Do you think that either one of them will be the crown jewel of the set? And I think the free-to-play players are not really paying too much attention to what we're saying, but there might be some that maybe the Dolphins that, like Sammy, that only gets one pack, and they're looking and they're saying, should I go Cactar or Yellow Off-Roader? For myself, I'm a big fan of the off-roaders in general, just because they do have the largest hitbox of any cart. Now, and I mean, I also like yellow things, maybe not like this weird, bathroom, excretion, colored thing. I don't know what's going on with it, but there's brown, there's yellow. It's kind of weird. But here's the thing: is like ultimately, it doesn't matter what it looks like. If it's got a nice big hitbox, you got to be a big fan. Now, here's the thing: like you said, when Nintendo likes to buff the things that people don't have. So I'm actually, because I think this everyone really enjoys the off-roader and how it feels, how it handles its hitbox in general. I think the Cactar might actually have maybe the better value. I know, just for myself, I'll talk about what I got during our pack section. But I went in to get the yellow off-roader. I only got the Cactar once. I got the yellow off-roader 3 times. Just because of that hitbox, I'm going to take whatever tracks it does have, and I'm going to maximize those till I'm blue in the face. And I've kind of talked at length about the brown off-roader and how I was unassuming about thinking how much value it had, but it makes a lot of sense to take that one to 7 and double, triple uncap it too. Now the thing is, it has already some overlap with some other top cards, including the regular off-roader. So take it for what it's worth. But I wonder now that I'm saying this, now I'm getting it out there, I'm wondering if Cactar might actually be the more valuable one in the long run, but it doesn't matter. Hitbox is king, and that's why I'm going yellow off-roader. If you gun to your head, if you had to pick between the two, what do you think, Antilev?
Yeah, so for me that would be the Cactar. I'm not going to tell you why. The palette swaps tend to have a lot of overlap with their original items. Cactex, Cactice, and Off-Roader, if you can guess, will probably have some overlap with original Off-Roader and the brown Off-Roader. So I don't have Cactex. And actually, it's one of the carts which I wish I had it because it would fill a lot of holes for me. So from my personal inventory, from a neutral perspective, I think it's total coin flip. I think one is going to be as good as the other, but I think you have to look at your own inventory. Say if you have off-roader at a high level and not the cacti and the cactex, yeah, maybe go for the cactar. If you have cacti at a high level, I know a lot of people do because it's a valuable card as well. Maybe you want to go for the off-roader. So for me, I'm going for the cactar. If I get one, I don't know if I'm going to buy one or not, but we'll see.
Well, if Tabor was here, I'd ask him how many times have any of the Cact, Ice, X, whatever, have been in pipes. I don't remember it really being in a pipe. I could be mistaken, but we've seen off-roaders in different pipes. But I remember, and of course, the regular Cacti, Cactex, has been in 100 pipe, but you don't see it in any special pipes. You don't see it in something where the whales can really take it up to a high number. No,
they're regulars, but they're not. They haven't been featured. The cacti has been in 1 or 2 100 pipes. I don't have the exact pipes in front of me where they are, but it has been. Brown off-roader is very rare. Regular off-roader is also relatively rare considering how old it is.
Yeah, either way, like those 2 carts, like them both. We also have a new glider, which I've seen a couple people already take it to level 6, level 7. I think the mushroom skill for a glider is above average. It's nothing like too spectacular, but a lot of people really like it for if you're doing time trials, or I guess time trials you get whatever. But I'm thinking like multiplayer. There's a lot of like speed runs, or for whatever reason, people really like mushroom. I am not as excited about this. I think the 8-bit stuff, it's kind of getting old. It was kind of cool at first. I thought the 8-bit bullet bill looks cool, but this mushroom, it looks kind of weird. I'm not a big fan of it, but what are your thoughts on the 8-bit super mushroom? Is this something that you think will have a lot of value, or do you think at this point in time we're just a matter of a couple tours before we get finally that 8-bit pipe?
Well, if I had, so I bought this one. I usually buy the commemorative packs at least once. All of the 8-bit gliders are very good value. Like even the 8-bit Star, which is one of the older ones, still has amazing coverage. And the other 2, the 8-bit Fireflower and 8-bit Bullet Bill, they're both top 10 gliders. I don't know off the top of my head the rankings, but they're both extremely good gliders. Going with that theme, I think a lot of people are predicting that the 8-bit Super Mushroom will follow that path and also get a lot of value. And the fact that it has, a good item, it means that I think people feel like relatively safe investing it right away. This is a wait and see for me if I will invest in it or not. But I think it has it has upside, shall we say?
Upside, yeah.
Definitely. I would definitely keep my eye on that one. All right.
Do you like the mushroom skill? Do you feel it is kind of like that, above average skill? I
like any skill which you cannot get in first place. Because that means it doesn't take away from coin boxes. I don't think glider skill matters a whole lot to me, but like green shell, like if you're working with a green shell glider, you will notice that you'll be getting a lot more green shells. And if you're working with a coin glider, you'll be noticing you'll be getting a lot more single coins in first place when you're front running. So I like any skill. I like lightning. I like bullet bill. I like giant mushroom. That's so mushroom is also something I think you either can't get it or the chances are extremely low that you get it in the first place. So
good points. I will say all of these have right now all RT tracks and no cities, and I think from that perspective you got to enjoy that. I don't see any very unique trends like that these are having. I will say that both the Cactar and the yellow off-roader have skills that aren't necessarily great for trick tracks. I think when you see that somebody has an RT track, you'd love it for it to have dash panel plus or jump boost plus, because there's so many of those. It does make a little bit of a difference, but otherwise these skills are not going to help you on an RT track. per se any more than a regular track. In fact, you might even, all things equal, go with a jump boost or a dash panel if that's the case. But still, I mean, these hitboxes are going to trump any type of skill. But just tossing out there as we look at RT tracks, and I don't think we've discounted them as much as cities, and I think that's the right way to go. As for the pipes and what's spotlight, what's not spotlight, what are permanent items, there's no changes to the drivers, karts, or gliders. We just see stuff from the week 2 pipe, so nothing really to write home there. And then here's the week 2 pipe, which, man, we just have these silly toads and Toadettes. It's interesting. I will say, if I had to pick between the two different pipes, week 1 or week 2, I would probably go with week 2 only because of these dozers. I am a huge fan of the black dozer. I also like the pink dozer. That one, kind of to our point earlier, having a lot of RT tracks, having a lot of trick tracks in general with jump boost plus is always good. And the dozers have, an above average. I think they're like top 20 when you're thinking about that hitbox. Definitely not leading the way, but it's a good hitbox to have for sure. 9 high ends, 6 spotlights, nothing too crazy. It does have the beautiful sunset balloons, the safety glider, also very cool. But I mean, I think kind of similar vein as the week 1 pipe. It's not really one that you have to go into if you don't need to. But what are your thoughts, Antilev?
I like this pipe. It's funny because you say, I don't know what's going on. It seems like we got 2 week 2 pipes. These are both week 2 pipes. We didn't get a week 1 pipe this week, but this one definitely has better value in my opinion. Both the dozers are great. Sunset balloons is great. I think safety glider is also actually quite an underrated glider. It's heavy on the RTs, so thematic. But it has good value in terms of coverage, and both Builder Toadette, item-wise, not really interesting. Coverage-wise, they're good. And one other thing, Pink Dozer is the absolute ACR champion this tour. It's got I think 13 tracks where it's top shelf, including the doubles. So in that sense, if you have it, you're trying to push it to a higher level to go for ACR. I'll pull this pipe, try to get some Pink Dozer dupes. But it's also just a nice one to have. It fills a lot of those RT holes where your normal inventory may not focus so much on. So yeah, I like this pipe. I don't know how much I'll go into it myself. I'm a main account on my free-to-play account, but I think in general it's a good pipe.
Yeah, good points. I think the most excited pipes that we have would be these special pipes. They look much more value. They have some great skills in there. Let's kind of first talk about this Team Toad special pipe, and it seems like there are no spotlights. They're going to be probably released. My guess is at the same point in time on Sunday, or is this going to be like a staggered approach?
I think we tend to get when it's a versus rally, we tend to get both the special pipes at the same time. So yeah, we'll probably both get those Sunday. They look like nice pipes. Nothing new or exciting, but just in general, the quality of the items in these pipes. It's gonna come down to, of course, as always, the odds. If this is a 1-1-1 pipe, no, not interested. If it's a 2-2-2, then no, okay.
So yeah, do you have a prediction between 1-1-1 or 2-2-2, meaning 2 end high-end drivers, 2 high-end karts, 2 high-end gliders, or do you think they're going to be one of each?
It's hard. They've been more generous lately, haven't they? I think it'll be one or the other. I don't think they'll weight drivers or karts or gliders more. So I think we'll get either one or the other. So optimistic side of me says it'll be 2-2-2 on both. That's what I'm hoping for. Worst case scenario is 1-1-1.
Yeah, I've been trying to just not set the expectations too high, and they've been going out of their way to do the exact opposite of what my prediction is. So at this point in time, I feel like no matter what I pick, they're going to go the other direction. But I have been trying to kind of set my expectations low. But then when it comes out and it's different from my expectations, it could people could be like, oh my gosh, this is even better than Studfit predicted. So I have to go into it. So I feel like take it for what it's worth. But ultimately, I actually probably going to be on the 222 side, only because it says at the end of the celebration, we have 9 high-end odds in both of these week 1 pipes, or week 1 pipe and week 2 pipe. So I think to have a special pipe, it's got to be a little bit better than that, and 12% is not out of the realm of possibility. And I think you have to look back at what was it, the DK versus Bowser Tour had similar ones like this, right? What were the odds there? Do you remember?
In the DK versus Bowser Tour, and the special pipe, you mean, or
yeah, I think it was this special pipe, right? There was something similar to this.
I remember the one with the gold home field glider in the LA Tour had 7 high ends in that special pipe. That was definitely a higher odds high end.
Sure.
But yeah, indeed, they've been giving us. I think, say last year, look back to 2020, it was pretty standard 50 pipe with 3 high ends. Was more or less every
Antilev, it's year 3. It's the stakes have been raised and raised and raised. I think looking back at past years, it's gonna be tough. I think looking at other past versus tours might be a better idea, but I think Nintendo can give us any direction. My prediction would be 222. If that was the case, and let's say it was 222. Which of these 2 pipes would you be going into for either of your 2 accounts?
So for my main, I'll probably be going for the second one, and mainly because I don't have Swimmer Rosalina at level 7, and I've got Tuxedo at level 7, and Nabbit as well. From a neutrals perspective, I really like the value in Pipe 1. I think there's some really underrated items there. I think Mario Tuxedo is, I know you've got some history there, but I think he's one of the better coin box drivers now, even though he's not a heavy, doesn't have the biggest hitbox modifier, but his coverage is great. Nabbit, I think, is still useful. Lucky 7. And Penguin Luigi doesn't have a plus skill, but he's got useful coverage, and he fills some gaps on some non-coin box tracks. So I think all the drivers are valuable. The Karts, Silver Bullet and Steel Driver's got good coverage, a bit small. Grand Bandwagon's a good one. And then I think the gliders are the most interesting, actually. I think Regular Manta is one of the most underrated gliders in the game. It seems to be ranked a lot lately, and it has surprisingly good coverage. I think it has over 20 tracks. And Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella is also one of the most underrated tracks in the game. It has 25 tracks.
Wow.
5 of them are cities, but it's still, nobody talks about it, but it is a really good glider. So I think the value on the first pipe is excellent. I would be going for the second pipe, just because I won't be wanting to get those Rosalina Swimmer dupes. But for my free-to-play account, if I would pull the first one for sure.
Yeah, I think all really, really good points. It's going to really come down to your own coverage. Personally, I'm not... These drivers, I have, like, Mario Tuxedo, I have Nabbit, I have Penguin Luigi's, all 3 of those at level 7. And so I'm so scared. I would be so scared to pull in that pipe. But
sure.
I think overall, like, these items are much, much, much better. The Grand Bagwagon I would be probably the most looking forward to if I pulled on this. I already have the Silver Star Chute at level 7, but everything else, and I think Silver Steel Driver too. But I agree with you that Nabbit. I think this might be the first time it's back into any type of pipe since it was been released. It's been kind of one of those rare gliders from that respect. But I think overall, if I was starting from scratch and I had a brand new account, I would be going into this week 1 pipe. I think it's a great pipe for free-to-play players to go into. It's been interesting how many times Tuxedo Mario has been in special pipes since his release, and we still haven't even had Bowser come back for a second time. Santa Bowser come back for a second time. And so I think that really is interesting that they're trying to shove Tuxedo Mario down our throat. Now, I did have a couple people reach out. I know Kath Angel let me know she'd ran her spreadsheet, and her BAM and Gerbs, and Tuxedo Mario was her number 1 driver, most valuable driver for her. And I think that is the case. I know he didn't get quite quite the buffs we wanted to early, but right now he is a great coin box driver. And I think from my perspective, I was fulfilling a fun bet, but I do believe that his value is there, and I think from that perspective, you can't dismiss. He's a great coin box driver. Now he's that medium size hitbox for a driver, so he may not be as good as a King Boo or King Boo Gold or Santa Bowser, but overall, awesome coin box driver. Definitely worth getting up to a high level. For me, I'm probably going to be passing on this pipe just because of that. Now, for the week 2 pipe, this is one I may or may not go into. Rosalina Swimwear is the only one I have at level 7. I think it's the only item I have at level 7 on this list. So I might just go into it just because of the value, just the pure high ends that are there. Might do some, beat the pipe type of strategy. I think Peach Wedding's at 6 and I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 out of the 5. And I think I have Daisy Fairy at 6. So, for me, it's like I would love to go into this pipe just for the sheer value, but everything else that's in here are not that great. When you think about like the Prancer or the Sweet Day Tripper.
The cards, aside from the Blue Soda, not impressive. The drivers.
Now the Silver Manta Glider, that's probably the one I would want the most.
That's a great glider. That's a phenomenal one. But actually, all of the gliders have pretty decent value. The Daisy Glider is maybe the least valuable, but Silver Bells pops up here and there a lot, actually. And Silver Manta is a great glider, yeah.
Really, really good point. I will say, Sammy asked a question through our channel. He asked for some pipe data related question. How many of the 2021 special pipe debut items have been spotlight versus non-spotlight? And is this trend back and forth any discretable way? Is it where we have like a spotlight one tour, no spotlights the next tour, then a spotlight next tour? Is that kind of a pattern we're seeing, or what's some of the data telling us?
So the way he phrased the question was, is this concerning? And I was trying to get at what does he mean there, because I'll start by prefacing this. In 2020, we only had one pipe ever that was a special pipe and had spotlights. Special pipes, that was it was when I wasn't playing. It was during the Jungle Tour. I think we had this heavy hitters pipe. But other than that, special pipes did not have spotlights. So is it concerning that we go back to that? No, I don't think so. I looked at the new items that were introduced in special pipes. We had 11 new items as non-spotlights and 7 new items as spotlights. Now, there is a caveat there, because 7 of those 11 are those B-Dasher Mark IIs. And that was all in one tour. So it's maybe a bit of, do you want to count that as an exceptional case or not? I don't know. Other than that, there was 4 new items that were introduced as non-spotlights, and the 7 that were introduced as spotlights, 2 of them were also an exceptional case because they were in 100 pipe. The only special 100 pipe I think we've had that was in the Peach versus Daisy Tour, the Valentine's Day pipe. That was Pauline Rose and Rose Taxi. Other than that, we've had the new Streamliners, not new anymore, but the orange and decal Streamliner, gold King Bob-omb, the gold Home Field Collider, and Ship's Wheel as spotlights. So depending on how much weight you want to put on those 7 B-Dasher Mark IIs, it's pretty even, maybe even shading towards new items tend to be spotlights more often than not in special pipes.
Yeah, good to know. I think overall this is going to be probably a great pipe. If it's 2-2-2, if it's 1-1-1, it might be one that you pass on. But I think overall, especially the Team Toad, going to have some good value there for you. I think no matter what direction you go. Now, in order to feed your account to go into those special pipes, we have a lot of packs, and this is kind of their trend that they've been having here lately when it comes to the end of a celebration tour. There's a lot to pick from, and I think despite that, I actually the only ones that I got were got one of the Cactar and then 3 of the yellow off-roader, even though I have those coin boxers at level 7, because I do want those carts. I do think the fact that they are in 90 90 packs are going to be helpful. And to me, honestly, I don't need these cats. And so for me, it's like I am kind of like ramping down a little bit of my investment into the game. And so for me, like the week 1, I'm actually probably fading more than the week 2. The week 2, I think these are much more appealing. I think from that perspective, if you don't have this Peach Explorer and Off-Roader at level 7, I'd say that's probably going to be your absolute best pack there out of really. I mean, really, it's hard to argue, but you could argue that either the 90 packs this week and that pack next week, those are probably going to be the best 3 in value. I think even though I might go a little bit into this Wario Hiker, I'm going to need some help for ranks next week, and I absolutely love his look. I think Wario looks awesome already, but then you have these cool color combos of the yellow and purple. So I think in a bubble, if I had to stack rank these, I would say Free Koopa running, then Peach Vacation, then Peach Explorer, and those would be the top 3. And that's kind of like where that tier, and maybe underneath there, it's really a crapshoot. It's all kind of just about equal. I think maybe the Builder Luigi and Dark Buggy could be maybe that 4th one, but that's how I would rank it just in a vacuum. I think for myself, I do like the Wario Hiker. Had a lot of he brings me back to like how much fun we were having when we were playing this game early on. But other than that, I think he probably doesn't have as much value as I would say maybe even Cat Peach has more value than him. But for me, it's like I'm just not a big Super Bell fan, not a big Peach Cat fan, so from that perspective, I might go that direction. But Antilev, what are your thoughts on all these packs? I know your free to play is probably trying as hard as possible to look the other way, but with your whale account, how are you assessing these packs? And with an increase of that, does the amount you invest in the game increase too, or how would you approach having so many packs of things you may not have at level 7?
So I have to say, I think the best value of all of these is the Peach Explorer and Off-Roader pack, because you got 2 excellent items. Off-Roader is one of the top cards. Peach Explorer is one of the best non-coin box drivers there is. I think she has something like 26 non-city tracks, the most non-city tracks of any driver in the game. So just pure terms of getting 2 great items in a single pack, that would be my pick. The 2 new cards, it's a coin flip, but when we get a new item in a 90 ruby pack, they more often than not turn out to be very good. But yeah, I mean, it's an expensive gamble if they don't. But it helps that they're with good coin box drivers. So Gold Koopa, he's small. But he has a lot of exclusives. He's got, I think, 8 or 9 tracks where he's the only coin box driver. So he still has a lot of value in that sense. I'm not Cat Peach. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Puffton got to you before the show or something. Force you not to like say anything, but the Cat Peach is useful. She's got good coverage, and she, even though she's weird looking, she fills a lot of holes in coverage. I'm also not a huge fan of the Super Bell, but Builder Mario, Hiker Wario, not attractive to me at all. And then Cat Toadie's also interesting. They got okay coverage. But none of these are really like, I need to buy this. Sometimes there's packs where like, okay, I am getting that right away. I haven't bought anything yet except for the Ape Super Mushroom. And to be honest, I don't know if I will. We'll see.
Okay. Week 2 as well, you think you'll hold out the whole way through?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe I need the coins. I'm running out of coins.
Oh man, yeah. It's weird. I've been getting a lot of high-end driver tickets, and that's it. Like I haven't been getting high-end carts or high-end gliders really at all. But almost every day I have a high-end driver. I think I got up to 22 high-end drivers with all the free stuff that they gave us. So I just took Kangaroo, took Bounce to level 7. So I think I'm down to 10 now or something like that. So I'm fine with 10, but for me it's like that's fun. It's good to be at. But I think we're all having to kind of decide on do we need coins or not? Because I think I was at close to like 400, 500,000. Now I'm down to like 200. So yeah, it'll be I'll actually be needing some coins here soon. But a good problem to have though, Antilev. I'll tell you that. As for other ways that we can splurge on the game, you talked about the commemorative pack. I think that the people that are this Gold Pass Plus, they're probably going to get it. I think it's worth it. But if you have to pick between a premium challenge high end or the commemorative pack, obviously it's maybe 3 times or so the cost for the premium challenge, but you get all these other tickets. Now it also comes with Dragon Wings, but in this type of situation, are you going to be getting the premium challenge, or what's your thoughts on the premium challenge and having Dragon Wings there?
Well, Dragon Wings is an older item, but it's still got one of the best coverage in the games as far as gliders go. As far from an ACR perspective, it's one of the best items you can invest in still to this day.
Wow.
That being said, Premium Challenge, I always buy it because it's €5 or $5, I don't know. And you get not only the item, but you get, a cap ticket, a high-end ticket, some other stuff, some rubies. If you got to choose between getting one item once or all of these other things together, no brainers. If you're Gold Pass only or slight Gold Pass Plus, go for the Premium Challenge. It's phenomenal value. It's after Gold Pass itself, it's the best value if you're going to spend money.
And what about between Premium Challenge and the Premium Challenge Plus?
Well, yeah, that's more expensive. It's really good, and it doesn't come around that often. But it's just tickets as well, and
well, I would argue that tickets are probably the most valuable resource in the game because you have to get the randomness of having it in your shop, and you're going to.
That's true. Coins. That's true. It's hard to say because it's. Yeah, when it's $5, it's a bit of a no-brainer, right? It's $15. Ooh, yeah, but again, I think it's still great value. I'm not trying to get everyone to open their wallets, but I think the Premium Challenge Plus is great value as well. You get, I think, 3 high-end tickets and 3 cap tickets. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me, but I understand. It may not be that for everybody. I think the Premium Challenge and the Premium Challenge Plus are probably my favorite part of what Nintendo has brought to this game, and just giving us an extra way to have fun with our accounts. I think when we have tickets and we are investing, we get excited. We want to use our new items. We want to go all out, and I think at this point in time, anything that's going to rev us up and get more enjoyment is plus for the community. And I am really, really glad that they bring those Premium Challenge Plus. Those are
sure.
For me the probably even maybe better bang for my buck than anything else. And I think Gold Pass is still up there, probably the number 1, but Premium Challenge Plus is number 2 for me.
If you think about it, the Premium Challenge and Premium Challenge Plus together are the same price as a 45 rupee banner. So that's really good.
Good points. All right, so we have a lot to get into for who got buffed. We obviously have some new drivers here. They got 3 new buffs. Tanuki Mario, Tanuki Rosalina, and then Waluigi Vampire. Each of these getting 3 new buffs. So some of the cities or some of the tracks that Tanuki Mario got, he has 0 cities. So he's now up to 13 non-city tracks. But you get the 3DS Rainbow Road RT, and then the remix Ghost Valley RT, and then Deep Donut Plains, I believe, RT. That's a nice track for him too, but I don't know. We haven't really had you on, and we hadn't really talked too much about the Tanuki since that tour. But what are your thoughts on this Tanuki Mario scale and this Super Leaf? And are these 3 new tracks? They seem like they're good tracks to have, but is it worth investing in Tanuki Mario?
I'm taking a wait-and-see approach with these. So the funny thing with this one is I don't have either of these drivers on my main account because I didn't pull. But I got them both on my free-to-play somehow. I got Tanuki Mario from a free on the first one, and we made the decision to go into the special buy to Tanuki Rosalina, not for her, but me and my kids together. We decided, okay, let's pull for we didn't have any other drivers in that pipe except for Nabbit, and Nabbit dupes are good because he's a good driver. So, and we got her with the very very last pull. We did 310 pulls. So I've got both of those on my free play account. I'm taking a wait and see approach. With free to play account, the tickets are so dear. The level up tickets. I really only want to spend them on coin box characters. So I will avoid putting them on other types of characters unless it's absolutely necessary to win a ranked or it's like crucial. Super Leaf itself, yeah, I wanted so badly for it to be a new plus skill, but it just isn't. Sorry.
So you're not a pro Super Leaf player.
I think you count it just the same as you would count any driver with a bomb cannon or double bombs or triple green shells, whatever. It's not something you play for.
Yeah, no, I get that. Then we got Tanuki Rosalina with 3 of the tracks there. One being the same, or 2 of them being the same ones as Tanuki Mario. But it looks like she's got is that Luigi Mansion RT?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a nice one there for her, I guess. I'm trying to remember which Coinbox driver has that track, doesn't it? The Luigi Mansion RT.
I will tell you in just a second.
And then while you're looking that up, Waluigi Vampire also gets Luigi Mansion RT, Ghost Valley 1 RT, and Sunset Wilds RT as well. So he's up to 9 non-city tracks, 2 cities. I think Rosalina, though, is taking the lead between the 2 Tanukis.
Luigi Mansion RT is a non-coin box track.
Ooh, all right.
So that is a nice get for her, for sure, yes.
Good. As for the drivers that got 2 new buffs, we got Penguin Mario. He's actually number 14 on our list, which is very, very sneaky. I think some of us were suspecting, kind of in the same thought process that you had, Antilev, where it's like, hey, whatever people aren't pulling on, that's what Nintendo is going to wait and then go ahead and buff that one ridiculously. So Penguin Mario getting some nice buffs here. He's actually surprisingly up to 20 non-city tracks, plus his 4 cities for a total of 24 tracks. Very sneaky there. Then we have Kamek finally breaking into the top 15. I think it's just a matter of time before he is top 10. His 2 tracks, Bowser's Castle 1 RT and Calamari Desert RT. So he's up to 15 non-city tracks, 7 cities. A lot of cities there for sure, but anytime you have a coin box driver, especially one like Kamek who's got his own cup, that's always a plus there. So good for him. Luigi Painter, number 9 on our list, 21 non-city tracks, 11 cities. He's got Luigi Mansion RT and 3D Rainbow Road RT as well. Then we got Mario Baseball. Again, kind of similar vein as the Penguin Mario, where he was not a great skill, but kind of smack dab. I think you're obviously, for a lot of Americans, was one that we went for because of how cool and look and kind of that vibe that we have. But he's up to 14 on city tracks, 13 cities, a lot of cities. That part sucks. But Donut Plains 1 RT and Calamari Desert 2 RT. Good for him. And then Yoshi Kangaroo. So he's got Donut Plains 1 RT and Calamari Desert 2 RT. I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, both of those do not have Coinbox drivers. I'm trying to remember if Donut Plains 1 RT does. But I know Calamari Desert 2 RT.
They don't have Coinbox drivers.
So two new tracks where he might be the best option. He's obviously got some nice tracks there. I mean, I don't see how many total he has, but he's got 10 cities.
21 tracks, including 10 cities. So he's got 11 non-city tracks. 11
non-cities. That's good for him. Definitely will have to revise this slide before posting it on Reddit. There's a couple things missing. But we have Birdo Blue, the Super, up to 6 non-city tracks, 5 cities. Neo Bowser's City RT, and looks like that's Royal Raceway RT.
Yeah, Royal Raceway RT. Yeah.
Oh, good for her. I know that's one that I haven't had good drivers on yet. I think I was using Builder Toad at level 5 or 6 or something like that, and it was regrettably. I think there was last time it was ranked. It was on like a Peach Cup, and thankfully I had Peach at a high level, so it might be a good time to invest in Birdo Blue. How are you assessing these drivers? They got 2 new buffs.
So they're RT buffs, so they're almost as valuable as a regular track buff, but also I think a lot of people are like, oh well, they're just getting RTs. It's not that important. But there's one thing I want to say, and especially about Kamek and Bounce. Kamek, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh well, I regret putting tickets on Kamek.
Really?
He's just gotten.
Who's
He's
saying
just
that?
gotten. I don't know. Read Reddit. Read the Discords. A lot of people are like, "Well, he's not getting any buffs. He's only getting cities. He's not. He's crap." After Kamek's initial tour, there have been 3 city tours and an RT tour, and there's actually only been one tour, the Autumn Tour, which has had normal returning tracks. If you look at the list of tracks which they have yet to see, so all of the new items from the Kamek Tour, Kamek, the Zoom Broom, the Dream Glider, and the Silver King, he hasn't seen Royal Raceway, he hasn't seen Bowser's Castle 1, he hasn't seen Koopa Troopa Beach, either of them, he hasn't seen Daisy Hills, Cheap Cheap Lagoon, he hasn't seen Choco Mountain, he hasn't seen there's 17 courses which he hasn't seen, times 3, that's 51 tracks which he still could get potentially buffed on. And Bounce has a further, I think, 3 or 4 tracks beyond that, which were in the Kamek Tour, but he hasn't seen yet. So they both, okay, maybe their track selection isn't like, they're not coming like hard out of the gate like Gold Bob did, where he ended up with like 20 tracks really quickly. But their buff potential is still massive. I'm really high on both of these drivers. I'd say right now, I think there's a very good chance Kamek ends up as the number 1 driver in the next couple of months.
I can see that. Yep.
So yeah.
Great points. I could certainly see him. He will be top 10. Will he be top 1? I agree with you. It's just a matter of time. And I think that's just because they finally gave us what he wanted. The way he came into the game, the way he came with his own set of things, including a cart named after him. He literally came into this game blasting. He got his own cup. I don't think that there's any way that he's not going to be at least a top 3 driver. I'm with you 100% there. Great analysis there. And then for the drivers that got 1 buff, we got a lot to get through. But you'll notice that Baby Mario Koala, number 3 on our list, up to 24 non-city tracks, 4 cities there, for a total of 28 tracks. That's phenomenal. And the track he gets is Calamari Desert 2 RT, which, as we talked about, no coin boxer there. Not necessarily the greatest skill. And I know we'll get some feedback on you. I know you have your own kind of top 10, which I probably would tend to agree with in a lot of cases as well. But we'll get into that part. But it is nice to see him getting another buff here for a non-coin box track there. Builder Mario, certainly forgettable. It's nice that they remembered him just enough to give him this buff for Remix Ghost Valley RT. But he's got 60 non-city tracks, 6 cities. Builder Toadette. This is one that's interesting. Number 2 on our list. Number 22 non-city tracks, 8 cities for a total of 30 tracks. That's a lot of tracks. And obviously gets Remix Ghost Valley RT here. And then we got Captain Toad, 20 non-city tracks, 2 cities for Calamari Desert 2 RT. And then DK Jr. SNES, looks like number 8 on our list for a total of 21 non-city tracks, 11 cities. I absolutely love using him. I even debated putting tickets on Bounce Yoshi Reindeer, but I decided to do it anyway because DK had that same track. It's Calamari Desert 2 RT. A total of 32 tracks. It's a lot of tracks, Antilev. Interesting there. We'll get your viewpoint there, but once we get through here. But we got Daisy Swimwear, a lot of people's favorite to invest in because the triple bananas, because it was fixed like right there as she was crushing it. 18 non-city tracks, 10 cities for a total of 28 tracks. And then we have, of course, Mario Tuxedo for 19 non-city tracks, 7 cities. Good for him. Number 7 on our list. No surprise there, as we've talked about his buffs being really nice here lately. Rosalina Halloween surprisingly gets a nice little ranked buff here. Not surprised though is that she gets Remix Ghost Valley RT, obviously being a Halloween-esque type of track. And then Toadette Explorer, 23 non-city tracks, 4 cities, Kaimar Desert 2 RT, and then Wario Hiker, which we're going to see in ranked next week, as we talked about with this remix Ghost Valley at 1 RT. He's got 16 non-city tracks, 2 cities. So again, as we kind of talked about, 18 total tracks is not great for a driver, especially one who's been around as long as he has, but at least they gave him a buff. That was very generous of them. And then we have, of course, these 2 new supers, newish supers. Blue Koopa free running, 13 non-city tracks, 5 cities, and then we have Pink Yoshi, a little bit behind with 8 non-city tracks, 5 cities. Obviously, this Blue Koopa free running is kind of running free with this one of the top supers in the game. He has some massive value. But overall, Antilev, all these drivers with 1 buff. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, not too much. I mean, it's nice to see. It seems like we always get these token buffs on some random ancient drivers, karts, gliders. This tour looks like it's Build a Mario and Rosalina Halloween. Some good drivers getting some more buffs. I'm slightly happy Blackbirdo isn't getting buffed more, because it was just like enough. But yeah, I mean, not too much else to say on that. I like the triple bananas drivers. I like that it's not
what are your thoughts
a
on
minus.
DK SNES? Do you have him at high level?
I think he's a good driver. I like triple bananas. I like it because when you're front running a normal skill, if you get a frenzy, it's a 50% chance that it's a coin frenzy. For triple bananas, it's 40% chance that you get a coin frenzy and a 20% chance that you get a triple banana frenzy. Now, the way triple bananas were before, that just basically means your chances of getting a coin frenzy, which is the only thing you wanted, was lower. Now that triple bananas is good, now you have a 60% chance of getting a quality frenzy.
Yeah.
So it's good, yeah.
60% to get a quality one's good. That is for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're moving to who got buffed for the karts. We have 2 karts that got 4 buffs. Obviously, I'm really, really happy to see that with Vampire Flyer. So we have this Vampire Flyer, we have this Gold Pumpkin Kart. Each get 4 new buffs, both with 1 city and 11 non-city tracks, being both coming out and released last tour. You know how big of a fan I am for the Vampire Flyer. Happy to see it getting 4 buffs and only 1 city here. Now I will say, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, but I know some of the buffs it's had overlaps with the Crawley Kart. Both of them are kind of Halloween, autumn. Spider kind of came out last autumn, and so there is some overlap with drivers or karts that I have at level 7, triple uncapped. But overall, I absolutely love the fact that it's getting these buffs. I'm not surprised. You know how much I have loved it. I advocated pretty hard. So nice to see 4 buffs there. 4 is good, especially when there are no cities here. So wonderful on those. Any thoughts on these two karts with 4 buffs?
The Vampire Flyers, 11 tracks non-city after 2 tours is a really strong start, especially when one of them is the city tour. I think it's going to be a star. It's a big kart. It's got a strong start. It's good. It does have some worrying overlaps. Like from my account, it's not something I will invest in yet. I did get it, but it only adds coverage, I think, on 1 new track for me, where I don't have something high leveled already. If I look at the overlap report for Vampire Flyer, it shares 4 tracks with Silver King, which I have at a high level. It shares 4 tracks with Red Crawley Kart, 4 tracks with Gold Pumpkin Kart, 4 tracks with Dark Trickster, and then it shares 3 tracks with Black Turbo Birdo, Crawley Kart, as you said, Metal B Dasher, Mark II, Pumpkin Kart, and Tanuki Kart. It's a really strong start. I think it's going to be a great car. Gold Pumpkin Kart may be a bit under the radar as well, because it's got the same, but it doesn't have the hitbox.
Yeah, it's actually kind of teeny tiny, but I do not have the Gold Pumpkin Kart. I did end up going into the gold pipe. I did 1 YOLO. I got the gold wings and was so happy to walk away from that pipe. I know a couple of my good friends, like I know Godmode, who watches this frequently. I think he put a lot of rubies and didn't get either of these spotlights, and that happens all the time, unfortunately, to people. But it can be very deflating when that happens. So I wish them the best, and I think they'll come back eventually. But that's how this game. That's how it works. Is they're gacha games, and they'll get you anytime that they don't have spotlights. That could happen. I think this Vampire Flyer, for me. None of those that you said really. I don't have the Silver King at a high level. I have it at just level 1. Even though I have this red crawly cart at level 3 because I got it 3 times. The commemorative items for whatever reason haven't been as glamorous as they were in year 1, and even I think even like trickling into this earlier this year, we just haven't seen the commemorative items be as powerful as they once were. So. We'll see. I think a lot of people, when having to pick between the Vampire Flyer or the Red Crawly Cart, went with the Red Crawly Cart because they already had a level 3. It's much easier to get anyway. So from that respect, not really surprised. They got 8 non-city tracks, 2 cities. So it is lagging behind the Vampire Flyer, for when you're thinking about new cards that came out last tour that have a good hitbox. But I mean, this Vampire Flyer, I think the only 2 that scared me that you said was the Black Turbo Birdo, which I have at 7,595, and the Crawly Cart, which I have at 7,700. So outside of those 2, though, everything else, very, very happy to have that coverage. So I was actually, I saw it a lot with Crawly Cart, but hearing it have overlap with those other carts actually makes me more excited. So for what it's worth. Now for the carts that got 2 buffs, we have this classic B-Dasher Mark II. It now has 3 non-city tracks, 11 cities. When you see that the cities are over 3 times as many, that's a little alarming. But it came out in that city tour, so that's probably going to be very similar for a lot of the Mark IIs. But it's by far the lowest of all of them what we see here on this list. Cream B Dasher, as an example, has 5 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Green B Dasher has 6 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Then you have the Red B Dasher and the Sky Blue, both with 7 non-cities, 8 cities. Really, technically having the best value when you think about 7 non-city tracks. But again, everyone's coverage is going to be a little different. And I think this is going to be probably, what's going to happen with these carts is as time goes on. They're going to each kind of incrementally kind of go up with each other and kind of be on par. So these will all regress to the mean, I'm sure, over time. Then you get the Metal B Dasher with 9 cities, 5 non-cities, and then the Pink B Dasher with 6 non-cities, 8 cities there. You got Chemex's Zoom Broom with 16 non-city tracks, 5 cities to bring it to already number 7 on our list. Phenomenal for Chemex's Zoom Broom. And then your Silver King, 16 non-city tracks, 7 cities to number 8 on our list. Those neck and neck. Love seeing those both in our top 10. The Tanuki cart, number 13, with 0 cities. What are your thoughts on these carts that got two new tracks?
So there's 10 carts up there, and they're all newish carts. I'm not a big fan of any of the specific characters in the Mario universe, but I absolutely love the B-Dasher Mark II. The original, it was one of the first cards. I went out on a limb, and I'm taking this to double cap level 6 when everyone was like, what are you doing? I love the design. I think it's a gorgeous card. So I'm a big fan of these cards. On my main account, I got every single one in the Anniversary Tour. I had to have them. I'm a free-to-play account. I've also pulled on the second pipe, so I've got 3 of them are free-to-play. I've got the green, the sky blue, and the cream, I think. Yeah, I mean, they started with 8 city tracks each, so what can you say? It's going to be a bit of a slow burn to see if they're good or not. I don't know. They got the hitbox working for them, but we'll see.
They got the hitbox. They got beautiful aesthetic looks. I love them. That pipe, I think I have to, looking back, say that was one of my favorite pipes that we've had, because they're having so many new items. and just, as you're pulling through, you're trying to beat the pipe, you're trying to get whatever it is, like you're happy to have it, versus like now I'm like trying to avoid high ends and try not to get this. So I absolutely love that pack or that pipe. I think I cut you off though. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, I mean, on my free play, it came down to pipe 1 or pipe 2, and you can't really choose between the carts because they were all new, but it basically came down to the strength of the drivers in the pipe. And the second week, pipe had more interesting drivers from my free play account, so I went with that one. Moving on, Chemex Zoom Room. It's getting really good from like a coverage but I mean,
but do you like the way it handles?
Have you driven with this thing actually?
I have, man. I kind of talked about it last tour. It was excruciating. Like I don't and that actually brings up a good.
So weird.
It is so weird, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's like literally just not very nimble, I guess is
it's awkward, isn't it? Yeah. This is actually the highest level cart on my free to play account. It's level 4 with a single uncap because it's been ranked a lot. It's been useful. It's just, man, it's hard to drive. What can I say? I mean, in the spreadsheets and the data, it's a great cart. But yeah,
so
I don't know.
Cart Life asks on our Discord, After Hitbox, is there any potential to be found in studying whether carts have different axis points? So people such as Knights, which you met on Kart Talk, his brother Wootmoo, Kevin Garrett, and Sammy have all casually discussed this. But is there like I know you've been involved on the Hitbox conversations with Curtis, and I know Curtis does a phenomenal job of that. But anything we can prove when it comes to the axis points, along with that hitbox? Why do some of these carts feel like they can handle different than others?
Yeah, I think that's something that will require some like serious, pixel by pixel analysis, similar to what ER Curtis did with measuring the hitboxes. Basically, what you need to do is figure out what is the sort of center of balance of the cart. What point in the middle of the cart does it rotate around? Is it more in the rear? Is it more towards the front? I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't really looked this in depth yet, but I think it's definitely something worth looking at. I don't also know how much value that would add if you say this is more of a rear pivoting or forward pivoting item. Yeah, not sure.
Good point. Yeah, there are no points.
It is a very interesting question, though, and it would go a long way to explain why some carts feel like they, like the B-Dash Mark II. Part of the reason I love it so much is because it handles like a dream. It's like butter.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones, like the Zoom Room, they're tough. Yeah, I think even the Crawley cart is a little bit sometimes kind of awkward. I don't know if it's just because it's so big.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think the off-roader though probably is my favorite one to handle. I just feel like it kind of gets like a little like a little jump when you hit that boost. It kind of gets to me it runs really smooth. I get it though on the Mark IIs. Those are fun to drive. I like the Crawley cart. I think it has to me it feels very unique. But I like just kind of the way that it swivels, and I feel like I can if I have like a frenzy, I feel like I'm bumping into other people better than other stuff. Now, obviously, it's got a big hitbox, but it's also one of the reasons why I love the Vampire Flyer. So, yeah, man, anything that's got a good hitbox, I feel like I can handle it a little better. Zoom Broom, obviously, is kind of that certainly a weird one. I really hope they don't come out with bikes or anything else to kind of table off that. Then we have a lot of carts to talk about that got one buff, starting with this Black Cat Cruiser, which I think some of us were following your theory of things that people didn't get very often, and it's black too. I think I'm just waiting, and we're probably gonna have to wait really long for it to get its true value. But I do think eventually it will be there. It's got 10 non-city tracks, 8 cities there. We have the Dark Hop Rod, one that I was raving about. Still kind of a slow grind here. 15 non-city tracks, 6 cities, which is not a lot compared to. Now I think that the quality of tracks that the Dark Hop Rod has are great, but to only have 21 total tracks is not necessarily great for something that's been out as long as it has, and it's still kind of a newish item, but I mean, we've seen so many other like Zoom Broom pop up there. Silver King's come out since then too, so it's odd to see that, but I'm gonna put it under the category of this commemorative curse, or whatever you want to call it, that seems to be kind of lingering with these items this year. Got Dark Trickster with 15 non-city tracks, 6 cities. The green double-decker, 8 non-city tracks, 9 cities. Lime T-Coupe up to 14 non-city tracks, 12 cities. Then the Chimello with 16 non-city tracks, 3 cities. This is the Crank It D cart. The names are so similar. 16 non-city tracks, 2 cities. Gold Egg, 19 non-city tracks, 4 cities. You get the Pink Dozer, as we've been talking about and raving. Thankfully, number 9 on our list, up quite a lot actually. 14 non-city tracks, 7 cities there. We got Fast Frank, a former top 10, 20 non-city tracks, which is phenomenal, and 7 cities to go with it. And then we got the Ice Dozer, 11 non-city tracks, 6 cities. I do like that one, especially coming up with the holidays, coming up with the winter. I can see that one bumping up for sure. Pinch Hitter up to 15 non-city tracks, 12 cities. Then you got the Silver Bullet Blaster, 18 non-city tracks, 0 cities. That's surprising to see. Good for him. We got the Sunny Surf Sailor. Wow, that was awkward. 14 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Number 5 on our list, got a decent hitbox, but probably kind of similar to the Zoom Broom, kind of a awkward at times, but it's not as bad, obviously, but very unique feel to it for sure. Blue Turbo Birdo, 4 non-city tracks, 5 cities, and then the Blue Turbo Yoshi, 8 non-city tracks, 5 cities. So out of all these cards, they got 1 buff. What are your thoughts, man?
You're probably right. The Black Cat Cruiser is one of those overlooked cards, which a lot of people didn't pull for. It was in I think a week 2 pipe, and most people were like, yeah, well, and the week 1 pipe was pretty popular, so I'm not going to go for it. I could see it becoming very good. Beyond that, it's Pink Dozer must be having some really strong ranked performances, because 14 tracks is not that strong of a coverage. 14 non-cities. Ice Dozer, I have to say, I feel really sorry for this card, because it got new items usually get buffed. I think the first 2 tours after its introduction, it got no buffs. And then it got 6 cities in 1 tour or something like that. So they've been really given the cold shoulder.
Oh, wow. I see what you did there.
Yeah. And one other point, the Sunny Surf Sailor is an interesting one. It's got one of the biggest hitboxes in the game. Normally, when cards have are palette swaps of other cards, so like the Koopa King versus the Holiday King versus the Gilded King, etc. They have identical dimensions. Sunny Surf Sailor is actually significantly bigger than the Surf Sailor, because it has different wheels.
I didn't realize it was that significant.
Yeah, so Sunny Surf Sailor is one of the biggest cards in the game, and Surf Sailor is above average. It's like a large card, but pixel wise, it's there is somewhat of a difference between the two, indeed. Otherwise, no further comment.
What about these 2 supers? Have you invested in either of these?
I have, yes. I think I keep getting them mixed up because they look kind of the same, but one of them I took immediately to level 7 and 450 because it covered a track for me, which I don't remember what it was, but hang on, so I'll look it up for you real quick. I think they're both having pretty good value, actually, for supers. I mean, I really like the trend, what they're doing with these new super cards, for especially for my free-to-play account, for newer players. They gives them really an opportunity to catch up, because they're having good coverage, and they're letting newer players who don't have all these older high-ends at high levels, have at least filling in their coverage holes. I think it was RMX Ghost Valley 1R. I didn't have a top shelf on maybe even my main, and so I took the Blue Turbo Birdo to level 7 there.
Nice. Yeah, it's I'm all about it. I've been actually buying for like the last, I don't know, tour or two, buying all the super kart tickets, because those are the most necessary of all of the super tickets, in my opinion, because you have all these carts that you don't have at like that, are they're either like thrown into a pipe or whatever, and you just don't, like a cucumber or something like that. It's like, whereas the drivers are somewhat limited up until this point. There's still, I don't have all my supers. Obviously, I have all my super daily selects, but no, I don't have all the super carts max. So I've been just kind of getting those tickets, and then I know Dietl brought up in our server one of his hypotheses is his shop was shut down, and then he started buying super tickets, and it opened up for him. And I think we had a good discussion about daily selects. I always enjoy talking about them. But one of the things that I mentioned is if your shop is shut down, just switch something up. Do something different. If it's buying a super ticket, if it's doing something outside of your pattern, you got nothing to lose. But to just kind of keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. So just try something different, to do something out of your pattern, and hope that that triggers that damn lever to be released, as we've kind of talked about. As for by the way, Antilev, any theories from you as a hypothesis as to how shops get shut down or turn back to normal? No.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because I seem to have I mean, looking in the ER server, I see guys who are getting like 20 tickets or something at a tour, and I'm like my best ever tour is 14 tickets, with the maxed out shop, and I'm happy anytime I get more than like 8 or 9 tickets in a tour. I wish I knew. I've tried everything. It doesn't seem to work.
Switch it up. We'll see if anything happens. But I do know, just to kind of fully answer that what Dietl was talking about, I do know that there are many whales. It might have been Carlos. I know like Gamer Amy as just one of the whales. She obviously is one of the best players in the game and gets each of the packs and stuff like that. But she buys every ticket every single day. So all 9 tickets, whatever those tickets are, she buys them, and she gets kind of the same numbers that we do. So I wouldn't say that's what the trigger is, but it might also. I think there's a lot of emphasis on relativity. So like I think that there's an average of something that you're doing, and if you're doing more than that average or less than that average, that's what matters. So I kind of talk about like spending. If you're spending the same amount, it doesn't matter if it's nothing or if it's every single pack. When you deviate from that relative number, that's when things start to get changed up. So I think it's relative. So if you're buying every ticket and then all of a sudden you stop buying all the tickets, maybe that changes things. Or if you aren't buying any tickets and then you just buy them just to switch it up, that's what I would recommend. I do think like the hardest ranks are come after you buy a pack, and if you don't normally buy packs. So like that's an example. Kind of same thing with a shop, and hopefully that'll help you out. But I figured it was a good question from you, Dietl, and worth discussing. As for the gliders that got buffed, we have now all of Kamek's set in the top 10. We have, well, actually, I think, I apologize. Kamek is, I think, number 14, I think I said. So, all in the top 15. We have the Dream Glider at number 8 on our list with 19 non-city tracks, 3 cities. We have the Golden Wings with 9 non-city tracks, 1 city. We have the Magic Parasol with 9 non-city tracks, 3 cities. The Silver Surfmaster, I'm actually surprisingly a big fan of. I think Nintendo likes Silver Things. It was a very unique introduction to the game. It has 12 non-city tracks, 9 cities. You got the Tanuki Parafoil, 12 non-city tracks, 1 city. Then we have the Vampire Wings with 1 city and 10 non-cities, which isn't bad for a new glider. What are your thoughts on these gliders that got 3 buffs?
Yeah, so let's get right to the first one, the Dream Glider. I think the fact that it already has 19 tracks. Remember what we were saying earlier, that the Kamek set has 17 courses with their 3 main variants to see. So there's still 51 tracks which the Dream Glider could get buffed on. So again, this could go with the way of the Black Crate sale, where it's gonna jump into first place and be first place for a while. I think it's a safe investment.
I agree.
If it's good coverage for you and if it covers holes, I wouldn't be hesitant to put some tickets on that one. The rest of the buffs, yeah, I mean, pretty new items. So again, nothing I don't really know that too much about. I really like the magic parasol. Part of it is my own bias. I bought the rose parasol once. It was in a pack, and everyone was like, "Don't buy that. It's a stupid thing to buy." And it's turned out to be one of my best investments. I had to use tickets to get all the way up because it never came back for a long time. Yep. But because the rose parasol's been so good for me, maybe it's my own internal bias. I'm slightly favoring this magic parasol. I'm rooting for it. I hope it does well. Beyond that, all newer items, so kind of difficult to say, hey, invest in these or don't invest in these yet. Take a wait and see approach.
Yeah, I think although I'll agree with you on the Dream Glider, I think I'll disagree with you on the Magic Parasol. And it could be wrong, but I don't know. I think that one might probably. I know we kind of talked about the Halloween curse and these Halloween items in the past haven't had as much value. I'm hoping it's different for some of these vampire items and that they're less, Halloweeny and more, like vampire-y. But the Magic Parasol, I don't know. It kind of has the Halloween vibe to it a little too much. The spiders and bats or whatever they are on them. So I don't know. To me, I'm probably not as optimistic on that. I would probably rather invest more into either of these wings, the golden wings or the vampire wings. But I think you nailed it on the nail on the head there with the Dream Glider. I think that's such a powerful glider already, and I think you're right. It's going to only continue going up from here. Definitely a safe investment. As for the gliders, they got 2 buffs. We got the gold Tanuki parafoil up to 11 non-city tracks, 1 city. The ship's wheel. It's been slower than we thought it would be. It's got 10 non-city tracks, 9 cities. The Sunny Surf Master, 17 non-city tracks, 6 cities. And then this Yukata ribbon, surprisingly number 10 on our list. It's got my vote for the ugliest glider, or most unimpressive, or most ununique glider here. It's got 16 cities though, 16 non-city tracks though, and 7 cities. So it's got great coverage already. It's not gonna be one that I'm gonna be investing in. I'm gonna be perfectly okay if I miss the boat on that. What are your thoughts on these 4 gliders?
More or less exactly the same as you.
Ship's wheel, man. I'm actually really surprised it hasn't been hasn't had more buffs. I know that these new items in special pipes have trended
as a spotlight in a special pipe. As a spotlight,
have always been really good value.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this one's taking its time. I wonder if that has anything to say about what's coming up in future tours, or what it's holding out for. But I mean, not that it's bad. Not that 19 is bad. But to have 10 non-city tracks?
10 non-city tracks is bad, I would say. The one thing I will say in its defense, it came out in the same tour as Bounce came out. And he also doesn't have impressive coverage at this point. But like I said before, we need to be patient with these items because there's so many tracks they haven't seen yet that there is still a lot of buff potential there. And I'm not saying it's going to be good, but it's not done. So I hope it'll get better. I don't, but it still has a lot of potential. So don't write it off already.
No, it's what I have, and I hope it gets some buffs. I'm just kind of I'm not pushing the panic button, but it's certainly surprising. As for the gliders, they got 1 buff. We got this Daisy glider, a former top 10, and in that pipe, but it's got 18 non-city tracks, 6 cities. One's been around for a long time. Similar to the Dragon Wings, that has 24 non-city tracks, 4 cities. It's got a total of 28 tracks. Obviously, it's a former top number 1 glider in the game. It's seen some better days, but I think all of these wings look beautiful, awesome. In fact, I still think the Dragon Wing is probably the coolest looking out of all 3 of them. That's my opinion. And then we get the Flying Easel, number 11 on our list, 16 non-city tracks, 11 cities, and then the Glinting Glider, One that took a while to break into the top 10, but now number 5 on our list. 19 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Obviously a coin glider, one that a lot of people liked. It had, it might be probably, I wonder if it's the best commemorative item that we've got exposed to this year. It's got a total of 27 tracks. That's wonderful for the Glinting glider. Gold Crane, 19 non-city tracks, 6 cities. Obviously a former top 10. And a lot of people's favorite, one of my favorite, to be honest with you. Got the Home Field Glider, 14 non-city tracks, 12 cities. Got the Manta Glider, I know you said one of the most underrated gliders, 21 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella, a sneaky, awesome glider with 21 non-city tracks, 4 cities. Polka Dot Manta Glider, 15 non-city tracks, 10 cities. And then this Silver Manta Glider, up to 25 total tracks, 20 of them being non-cities. It's great to see that still remaining in our top 10. It's a very, all these Manta gliders look cool. I just wonder how far they'll go. I think people, a lot of people are predicting different colors. Maybe a pink Manta glider would be cool, and I would love to see more varieties. Some of the like, we don't like reskins, but I mean they could reskin the Manta gliders till they're blue in the face, and we'll still enjoy them. Springtime Crane broke our top 15. This is one that I really liked back. I think we were really surprised. It kind of came out in the this fall time area. Actually, I think it was a summer celebration. It came out, even though it's a springtime crane. But love seeing 17 non-city tracks, 8 cities. Number 15. This has been a slow burn. We've seen it a little bit every single tour. Nice to see it break our top 15. Sweetheart Glider, 15 non-city tracks, 3 cities, and then the Treasure Map, which I think you really like, Antilev, 16 non-city tracks, 2 cities. That's not too many tracks, though, only 18 total. Why do you like the Treasure Map so much? Maybe tell us a little bit more.
I think maybe because I don't have it. No. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I went and looked, and coverage-wise, it's a glider that was really good. 16 tracks used to be a very good number for a glider, but yeah, I mean, in this day and age, 2021 in November, it's actually, it's not good anymore. I mean, we're looking for gliders who are getting close to the 20 non-city tracks, which is used to be a crazy amount for a glider, but it's just not enough anymore. Going beyond that, I was gonna say the Glinting glider is a commemorative item. You've got your highs and you've got your lows. I think they're all over the place. You've got your happy rides, you've got your sunset clouds and your Glinting gliders. You've also got your ice dozers. They're always a coin flip, these commemorative items, so it's hard to say. Beyond that, the springtime crane is a weird one. I feel like they meant to put it out with the Ninja Tour because it fits so well really thematically with that tour. But maybe somebody missed the deadline somewhere and they had to kind of stuff it in later. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that tour had so many new items, so many amazing items. So yeah, maybe they just decided, hey, maybe they won't notice, but it was pretty obvious. I agree with you there. Good. And I will say, just because you brought it up, I think from our perspective, with commemorative items, yeah, they're hit or miss. But I do think that that ice dozer, don't sleep on it, man. I'm telling you, man, it's coming up. I think it could be similar to like the Silver King, where it has some good value. Just putting that out there. Now, a lot to talk about here for the top 10 because you have your own top 10. This is, we're sticking with Tabor's algorithm. We love Tabor's algorithm, and that's how we're going to stick with this. There's a lot of great features about Tabor's algorithm, especially now that we made the tweak to only include the last 6 months of data versus all the historical data, which kind of skews old items. We want, the new items are always, going to be the ones that we tend to want to know what's happening with them. But I think you actually probably were one of the first people to talk about the carts and their skills not mattering at all, and not doing. I think you even kind of had your own. This is what Tabor's list would look like without the skills, and I always kept an eye on those. But We later obviously have adopted that, and I think you have an interesting opinion on Coinbox drivers. So I'll probably be talking about the top 10 alone. I'll get your feedback, but tell us a little bit about your opinion on Coinbox drivers and how they relate to the top 10.
Right. So the first thing is I don't like I make rankings, but they're not trying to do the same thing what you're doing. The Tabor's rankings are comprehensive rankings of just general value in the game, taking into account all aspects, coverage, skill, ranked usefulness. When I do my rankings, I'm really only focused on how useful is a given item for ACR. That's really all I care about. So they're trying to do two different things. So it's not, I wouldn't say that they're like something that you're competing to be better. The Tabor's rankings and my rankings are trying to do two different things. So that being said, my philosophy on Coinbox drivers is basically the way scoring works in Mario Kart Tour. You're trying to get the most actions possible, up to that 200 actions soft cap where you don't get bonus point boost anymore. Coinbox drivers versus a driver which doesn't have a plus skill can get you an extra, 50 to 80 actions on a course. Scoring wise, that is huge, and I don't
Massive.
think you can say that a Coinbox driver, the same level, and non-Coinbox driver are competitive. The way I like to look at them is like you've got normals and supers. If you've got a super where you've got a normal, you use the super. If you've got a high end and a super, you'd use the high end over the super. Well, if you've got a Coinbox or a non-Coinbox high end, you use the Coinbox. So in the same way where supers in your inventory kind of are placeholders until you get a high end there, I feel like non-Coinbox high ends are placeholders until you get a Coinbox there. Yeah, now obviously there are courses which don't have Coinboxes, but Nintendo, it keeps adding Coinbox drivers and they keep losing their non-Coinbox tracks. So for me, it's always a risk to invest in a non-Coinbox driver. Or Boomerang. Boomerang is similar scoring potential if you've got the patience to boombox. So for me, it's really difficult to rank Coinbox drivers and non-Coinbox drivers in the same list value-wise. Take a look at the value of Gold Bob-omb. He's got 21 non-city tracks. He's a heavy Coinbox driver. Nothing is going to happen where any of his tracks are saying, oh, I'm going to use somebody else instead of him. On the other extreme, you've got Black Birdo, who's got Bob-omb cannon. At the start, she's got, I think, 22 or 23 non-city tracks. The thing is, if you get a Lucky 7 driver or a Giant Banana driver or a Boomerang driver on those tracks at the same level as her, you're going to use that driver instead because the scoring potential, the action count potential is higher. So eventually the value will decay over time. So for me, from an investment perspective, I feel like Coinboxes and Boomerangs to a lesser extent maybe are the safe investments in the game. So I think that really depends. How do you want to look at the rankings? Are they forward-looking? Is it investment advice? Or they are backwards-looking? Is this a review of the value of the item, how it's been? But yeah, that's basically how I see it, how I look at it.
Yeah. So when I remember when, this is kind of more of a history lesson on how the top 10 came about. I'm a big NFL guy, and I almost everyone you're watching on ESPN or NBC Sports or whatever, they have power rankings of what are the best teams right now, and it's in the NFL it's very fluid. It's right, so some teams are peaking at the right time, and some the Tennessee Titans were probably a top 10 team prior to last week, and then Derrick Henry's out, and they're probably a bottom 10 team because that's their emphasis of their team is right there. So power rankings take a lot of that into consideration, but it's in this one moment, who would you love to have at a high level or something like that? It's kind of the way that we thought about it. Now, I heard, I think it was on one of Abdallah's videos, he's like, oh, this is a top 5 glider, top 5 whatever, and I was like, what? And then I found out that Tabor was doing these lists for him, and he was only focused on top 5. So I was like, hey, can you expand this to a top 10? I'd love to, do some videos on this. And then for the 1 year anniversary, we came out with the top 10 drivers, karts and gliders, just as like a one-time video, and then it took off. So now we have it as part of the rundown. So I think that the general feedback from the people watching the rundown, I would say the Dolphins to Gold Pass only absolutely love the new tweaks. They love that there are non-coin box drivers on there. But I also know, talking to people on ER or people who do all cup ranking, and they're like, yeah, really, the top 10 should all be coin box. So I understand both sides. I think from my perspective, I still use this list because to me, I want to kind of still encapsulate those power rankings of like, what are, if you could just have 10 drivers at level at level 7 just for like a new track prediction, which ones would you want? It's like, these are the hottest ones right now in this one moment, and that's kind of why I describe it that way. And with that being said, we'll jump right into the drivers. We have Blackbirdo, no surprise, still number 1, pretty substantial there. We got Builder Toadette, as we've talked about, up 4 spots to number 2, and then Baby Mario Koala up 2 spots to number 3 on our list. Peach Explorer, number 4, holding down that spot from last week. And then Shy Guy Ninja, unfortunately, falls a little bit. 3 spots, unfortunately, down to number 5. Former number 1, I'd love to see him go back up. I really don't. I hope this isn't a trend. And then we have King Bob on Gold. Those two were neck and neck for a long time at number 1 and number 2. He also falls 3 spots to number 6. Very sad there. But then my boy Mario Tuxedo up 1 spot. I like the trajectory he's going. I truly believe he is going to be a good driver when it's all said and done. I hope I didn't distort too much of people's thoughts on him, but he's up 1 spot to number 7 on our list. And then DK Jr. SNES, he's got his own fan base there. I love using him. He's fun. Up 1 spot, number 8. And then Luigi Painter, Lucky 7 driver, and really the only Lucky 7 driver on this list. Up 2 spots to number 9. You've been seeing him a lot here recently. Love that. And then Cat Toad down 3 spots, which is weird because they have him in a pack. Usually they make a little artificial boost when those drivers are in packs. But number 10 on our list. Then rounding out the top 15, we have Dry Bones Gold. Still a great coin box driver that has unique coverage, and technically our number 3 coin box driver on our list. Toadette Explorer, number 12 on our list. Kamek, number 13. Again, you talked about it, man. Maybe future number 1. And then Penguin Mario, 14. And then Luigi Lederhosen, number 15. Antilev, what do you think about the top 10? Any surprises from you?
No, I mean, well, Builder Toadette is a bit of a... I have to go back into the data and look what's driving that, because I don't think it's her coverage which is driving it, but she has been in ranked a lot, so that may be the case. One thing that's interesting that I wanted to mention, Dry Bones is losing a lot of tracks, a lot of exclusives, and for him that's dangerous because he's a small. Drivers have 3 weights in Mario Kart Tour: light, medium, and heavy. Among the coin boxes, there's 2 light drivers. There's Dry Bones Gold and Gold Cooper Free Running. The mediums are the 2 Marios, the 2 Peaches, 2 Peaches, right? Kamek, and I think that's it. And the heavies are Gold Boo, Gold Bomb, Santa Bowser, Party Time Pauline, and Rosalina Swimwear. A light
PGP,
driver
right?
has a hit. Sorry?
You were thinking about it. PGP was the medium, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all the Peaches. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
My bad.
A light driver has a 15% smaller hitbox modifier than a medium, and a heavy has a 15% larger hitbox modifier than a small one, than a medium rather. And you can see this if you put a heavy, medium, and light in the same cart and look at their size. So if you have a medium and a light at the same level, you will always take the medium because bigger hitbox, easier to collect more coins. What's happening with Gold Bones is he's losing tracks He's losing tracks to Tuxedo. He's losing tracks to Kamek. He used to be the number one driver when we looked at pure coverage and pure stats. And then we started looking at hitbox as well. And it's like, he's getting taken over by these newer Coinbox drivers who are also bigger hitboxes. So that's another thing when you think about investing. Investing in the heavy Coinbox drivers is a bit safer than investing in the mediums and lights.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been looking at Rosalina Swimwear as a great investment this tour to triple uncap, and I agree with you. If there's ever a track where it's either I'm having to pick between her or PGP, or I think Mario Hakama was another one that she had, or Cooper Free Running, I was always going Rosalina Swimwear, and definitely one worth investing in for that hitbox. And she's got a great coverage too. Yeah, like she was the first person to get a lot of Coinbox overlap last summer, because prior to that it seemed like each Coinboxer was kind of getting some exclusive tracks, but that was so long ago. Right now, almost you can almost expect there to be like 2 Coinbox drivers, maybe 3 on any track eventually. So if that's the case and you're having to pick between 3, you might as well have it with a slightly higher hitbox. So if you have to invest in her this tour, not a bad idea. Good point. Going to the top 10 carts, we have a lot more movement than usual. We have Black Turbo Birdo back to number 1 on our list. We have the Painster up 1 spot to number 2 on our list. And then, unfortunately, Ramby Runner, big fan favorite, fell 2 spots. We have the Sakura Quickshot holding down number 4. And then the Sunny Surf Sailor, which you were referring to earlier, just a little wider tires, up 2 spots to number 5. Purple Bunny fell 1 spot to number 6. Chemex Zoom Broom, as we talked about, up 4 spots from number 11 to 7. And the Silver King, massive jump. We knew this was coming because it's such a cool looking cart. Up 10 spots, number 8 on our list. And then Pink Dozer, the only one that moved more spots than Silver King, up 11 spots to number 9 on our list. And then Cact Ice holding down number 10. And then as we round out the top 15, we got B-Dasher Mark II, your big investment, Antilev, number 11 on our list. The Black Dozer, one of my personal favorites, number 12. Crawley Cart, another one of my favorites, number 13. Inferno Flyer, former top 10, just as of last tour, fell significantly to number 14 on our list. And then Jet Cruiser, number 15. So, Antilev, what are your thoughts on the carts?
Good list. No, I mean, more or less, it seems about right. I think it's really impressive that Black Turbo Birdo keeps the top spot, because even considering with its smaller card, it just got such amazing coverage. That it's up there. I love seeing the Purple Bunny in the top 10. That's one, I know you're a fan of it. I'm a fan of it as well. I invested in it early, and it is the quality of its coverage is so good. I mean, it's got so many difficult to cover tracks. Like, if there is a way to get this card on my free-to-play account, I am going to give everything to get it, because it is such a winner. Beyond that, no, good. I am happy to see Silver King getting, because not only did I invest in it myself right away, which I never do, I also convinced Carlos to do it. He hates to invest in new items, but I basically hammered it into him. I was like, you need to invest in this card. You need to invest in this card. I stuck my neck out, so nice. It's good that it's turning out to be good.
Yeah. I'm curious, you mentioned about the Purple Bunny. Do you happen to have Pink Wing at a high level?
I think I have it like level 5 or 6 and maybe single capped or something, but it's not something which I heavily use a lot. No.
Yeah. The Purple Bunny, it does have some overlap with Pink Wing, and it also has some overlap with Black Turbo Birdo. But other than that, all those other courses, by far the best card for almost all those. Some Donut Plains, some that's like specifically one where Rocket Start's awesome because it's not a big track, so you really are maximizing those points for what it's worth. But all really good points. And to wrap off, to wind down our top 10, we have the gliders. We have the Black Toe Beam balloons up 1 spot, dethroning our Black Great Sale. For black here, that's okay. I feel like they could even be going neck and neck. I have it at level 7, double uncapped, the Black Toe Beams Toby and Balloons, and then I have the Black Race Sail, obviously 700. So I love both of these gliders. I missed the first. We kind of use that analogy of like these waves going, and then it off in the distance, and then it's really the second wave that we see if it really is a useful item. I totally missed its first initial wave, and so it surprised me as it was coming back up. But here it is, number 1 on our list. Gotta love that. Some people are probably popping champagne from Sammy's server who really liked it early on. And then we have the 8-bit Bullet Bill, number 3 on our list. And the other 8-bit on the list, the Fireflower, number 4 on our list. Nice to see 2 of those up there. It's just a matter of time before we get this 8-bit pipe. And I hope everyone goes bonkers on it. Glinting gliders, we talked about, number 5 on our list, up 2 spots. We got the Silver Manta glider, up 2. That one's kind of shifted around the top 10, but been a solid glider, this Silver Manta glider. Star Great Sail, unfortunately, it's fallen a little bit. It kind of peaked there. What was it, like number 4, number 5? But still a solid glider. Dream Glider popped into our top. That one and the Yukata Ribbon both went up 9 spots to number 8 and number 10, respectively. And then sandwich in between those, the Gold Home Field Glider down 3 spots. Kind of surprised there. We'll see if it pops back up. And then to take everything out through the top 15, we have the Flying Easel at 11, the Bright Balloons at 12, Dry Bowser Umbrella, former number 1, number 13. We have the Sunset Balloons, the beautiful glider, 14, and then the Springtime Crane, as we talked about, number 15, with that slow burn increase there. So, Anselm, what are your thoughts on these top 10 gliders?
Yeah, the Black Toby and Balloons, I didn't see that one coming. It's been on the radar for me, but actually it's got 20 non-city courses, so yeah, all right. I mean, I think from a coverage perspective, Black Gray Sail still is like, oh, yeah. I mean, it's just such incredible coverage. So I think that belongs in the top 5. And yeah, and the 8-bits, like we were saying before, the 8-bits are both really good gliders. Only thing about 8-bit Bullet Bill is if you look at its overlap report, it has got really a lot of overlap with items which people have maybe already heavily invested in, which is like I think one of the reasons why some people might be kind of hesitant to put tickets on it. Yeah, from a raw coverage perspective, it's fantastic, but if you look at the overlap report, it shares 9 tracks with Black Gray Sail. It shares 8 tracks with Wicked Wings. It shares 6 tracks with Dry Bowser Umbrella. It shares 6 tracks with Sunset Balloons. So these are all high quality gliders, yep, which are older, which people may have already invested in, which may make it difficult to put tickets on this one. So that's just one caveat before you start putting your tickets in that one. Other than that, no further comments.
Yeah. I think this summer I was calling the 8-bit Bullet Bill like the Black Great Sail Light. And I agree with you there. If it may be one of those which you invest either or, and my recommendation would probably be the Great Black Sail. So, yeah, Black Great Sail. So, certainly pour some cold water on that 8-bit Bullet Bill. But I also that's one of the arguments that I've had with the Black Toby and Balloons early on is that it had some Strawberry Donut. It had some other overlap with gliders I had at higher levels, and that's why I think a lot of the whales missed out on it. But I think the people that really were seeing its value were the ones that were not whales and didn't have those those gliders that were kind of like legacy items or ones that had been top 10 for a while that we all had at level 7. Because when you're looking through your list, you see, you skip right to the one with level 7. You skip all over the ones that you had at level 2, 3, 4. But, if you don't have those at level 7, you're all things equal. I could see you being a lot more in tune with that value. Top movers and shakers. You like to see some of these on here. Both the Tanukis up here with Rosalina going up 29 spots to number 26. As we kind of predicted this, that she would be the more valuable Tanuki. Partly because Mario doesn't, he likes to have kind of a little curse associated with him. He does not have as much good value. Then, of course, you have Rosalina, who is kind of has always had good, good coverage between all of her alts. but obviously being in the special pipe was the number one reason. So to already be at number 26 is phenomenal for her. I can see her easily being in the top 10. I don't know, based on her skill, I don't know if it's worth an investment, but I think she's got at least a good hitbox because those Rosalinas do. And then Waluigi Vampire, he's went up 17 spots. He's number 72 on our list. I like that. If for some reason he becomes like the next Black Birdo, I mean, I wouldn't be too afraid to put tickets on him. But for now, I'm holding off. Mario Baseball up 14 spots to number 36. And then Yoshi Kangaroo finally getting a nice big wave here up to 46, up 14 spots. And then Birdo Blue up 14 spots as well. We got Wario Hiker up 10 spots to number 58. That's surprising. I'm surprised he's number 58. That's interesting. Penguin Luigi up 9 spots. He used to be a former number 1, if you remember. Number 24 on our list right now. Rosalina Halloween, number 68. She's been around for a long time. Doesn't have a lot of tracks, but I think she got a nice little buff here, especially in ranked. Captain Toad, number 52 now, up 7 spots. Anything you want to mention about these drivers and some of these, which ones moved and shaked?
No, not really.
All right. Most improved carts. The red Crawley cart up 36 spots to number 58. Good for the red Crawley cart. I hope that curse doesn't, the commemorative curse doesn't stick around on that. Metal B Dasher Mark II up 27 spots to number 90. Gold Pumpkin cart, we talked about that, number 20, up 26 spots. Vampire Flyer already number 23 on our list, man. This is gonna keep going up. I'm promising you. I think part of the reason is because people skipped out also on that week 1 pipe. Once they saw Waluigi Vampire's skill, and they knew that they had a huge gold pipe. They had the end of the celebration coming up. People just skipped on that pipe, and I think that card was one to put some value in. It looks like it's cashing out. As I'm just kind of skimming the list just based off of time because we're already over 2 hours. Tanuki cart number 25 on our list. That's really nice to see. The Black Cat Cruiser, in case you were curious, is number 66 on our list. That's gonna be all I talk about the carts, and then I'll talk about the gliders, then get your feedback, Antilev. But for the gliders, just kind of looking down the list, the Tanuki Parafoil up to number 31 on our list. That's awesome. Vampire Wings, as we mentioned, all of the vampire items seem to be pretty taking a nice little jump here. That does happen, but it's obviously the most improved with 32 change. Looking down. I'd say another one that sticks out, the Silver Surfmaster number 29 on our list, like that. And then the regular Tobian Balloons number 33 on our list. Interesting one there. Ship's Wheel slowly get up there at number 39. What are your thoughts on some of these movers and shakers?
Yeah, I think for the carts, the fact that the Vampire Flyer, which is also should get extra bonus points for being basically the Batmobile, yes. and the Tanuki cart, the fact that they're already so quickly ranked so high in their top 25 items already is a really positive sign, because they still have a lot of buff potential, and they've had both a really strong start. Tanuki cart's also one that's maybe flown a little bit under the radar, but it's also got a pretty decent size hitbox. It's a nice one to drive. And for the gliders, regular Tobian Balloons is it's not the greatest coverage wise, but it does tend to pop up here and there where it's needed. It's a glider I've invested in. I've got it 6 and double capped, but just because it covers a lot of holes for me, and it's in ranked 3 times this tour, once this week
Wow.
and twice next week. So yeah, other than that, yeah, no further comment.
Yeah, man. You keep bringing up, I guess potential buffage, and I think there's something there. It would be great to have a list of hey, these are the items that have the most to be potentially buffed. That would be a really cool asset for the community, because I think that's really important. Is hey, and I just assumed that they're not going to get a buff that they've seen, but I know eventually they could. I just think at this point in time, as they get released to these tracks, they get those buffs, and then once they've seen that track, they're probably not going to get that buff anytime soon. I like that idea. Let's take that one step further. As for the All Cup ranking MVPs, you made a couple good points about some of these items already, but we'll go through it. The items that you could be using up to 12 times this tour, we're talking Builder Toadette, Builder Luigi, Pink Dozer, and then the Clanky Cart. As you mentioned, the Pink Dozer 12 times. If you have to invest in it, if you have to pull for it, go for it. I love the Dozers. The Pink Dozer is definitely cool. Got that bubblegum pink for sure. You got some items with 11 tracks. You got the 2 new Karts, the Yellow Off-Roader and the Cact R, and then the 8-bit Super Mushrooms. So all 3 of those new items 11 times. That's awesome. You're probably not going to be able to use it at a high level, but good to keep it in the back of your mind if you are an early investor. My personal hypothesis, or not hypothesis, my personal philosophy is that all things equal, I'm going to invest in a newer item versus an older item. I've been talking about it till I'm blue in the face for the last 6-9 months, but I don't think necessarily you have to go out of your way. I think maybe there's, like this week I had the Sky Blue Mark II, I think at level 5 and 1 out of 3 or whatever it is, and then I had obviously this Yellow Off-Roader. I really debated, I had it at 3. I really debated, could I take it to level 6 and let it kind of leapfrog over that Sky Blue? But I was like, man, that if it was at level 4, maybe I would. But to me, I just put 2 tickets on the Sky Blue to take it to 6. But I mean, that's kind of, I probably wouldn't leapfrog it unless I absolutely really wanted to, just because I haven't been having access to those card tickets. But my philosophy is all things equal, maybe even given maybe 1 level, I would invest in a newer item over an old item. But I probably wouldn't go out of my way to drop so many tickets to take something from 1 to 6. I still kind of lean towards just whatever I can. If it's 2 levels above, I'll just stick with that one and just kind of save some tickets for later on. But would love to get your feedback on that, Antilev. Do you have a preference to old items versus new?
I mean, all things being equal, you prefer to invest in a new item because it's got the buff potential. It's going to be, kind of trending. It's going to be in ranked more often, probably coming up, because they prefer to put newer items in ranked. My philosophy for investing for ACR is set a target. I want to have every track covered by a certain level, certain base points. For you, that's probably level 7 double capped. So you look at the card, how many tracks does it cover which I don't have at that level, and I pick the items which have the most. Beyond that, then yeah, I sort of look at a newer item is better because you can get buffed and it can be ranked.
Good. Builder Toad, 10 tracks there. We got the Steel Driver, the only one with 9 tracks. Definitely an underestimated cart, and it does have a small hitbox, but it's got some sneaky value. Then you have 2 items with 8 tracks. We're talking about the Bruiser and the Safety Glider. And then we have a decent selection there of drivers, especially that have 7 tracks. We're talking about Dry Bones Gold, Baby Mario Koala, Cat Toad, Daisy Yakata, and then the Toadette Explorer alongside the Silver Manta Glider and surprisingly the Soaring Jack. Interesting there. So anything you want to add to these All Cup ranking items, Antilev?
If you don't already have the Bruiser at a high level, don't invest in it. It's worse than a lot of supers. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's notoriously bad. Just based on time, we'll get to the multiple use ranked items. So we're talking about Builder Luigi, for obvious reasons, being used 3 times this tour. Captain Toad 2 times. Toadette Explorer 2 times. I guess regular Toad 2 times as well. Builder Toad, Cat Peach, Cat Toad, Peach Happy. Like to see that. Tanuki Rosalina, Daisy Holiday Cheer. All used 2 times. all at level 1, so you already know when those are. But Gold Cooper free running, you can actually use twice, one at level 3 and then one that you're going to already be able to see. And then Builder Toadette, same thing. You have 2 tracks, one of which is unlocked at level 3. And then you got Yoshi Kangaroo. He's actually got 2 tracks, one that's unlocked at level 6. So you may not see it on your lineup if you're looking at it. We'll get into a second which tracks those are. For the Karts, we got the yellow off-roader. You can use a total of 3 times. So if you get it 3 times and get that pack 3 times, then you can see all 3 of its tracks. The Pink Dozer 3 times, love that. Cactar 3 times as well, which it's interesting. You can get it if you have it at level 6, you can unlock it at level 3 and level 6 respectively to get those 3. You have the Fast Frank 2 that you're going to be able to see, Off-Roader, Clanky Cart, Cheer, Mellow. You can all see those 2 tracks right from the get-go. Green Circuit, you can unlock it at level 3. And Steel Driver, you got 2 tracks, both unlocked at level 6. So sneaky there. Take a look at those Steel Driver. We'll talk about those tracks here in a second. And then you referred to it earlier, the Safety Glider, you can use a total of 3 times. This track, this Toe Beam Balloons, 3 times as well, one of which you can unlock at level 6. So take a look at that. Sunny Surf Master 2 times. Daisy Glider 2 times. Heart Balloons. Silver Manta Glider 2 times. 8-Bit Mushroom Glider. Both of those you can see right away. Good for that since you probably don't have it at a high level. And then the Star Spangled Glider, you get unlocked to level 3. So we'll talk a little bit about how those are unlocked. So for Calamari Desert 2 RT, there's nothing unlockable, but Koopa Troopa Beach RT, one to keep note of. You're probably going to be using Gold Koopa Free Running or Rosalina Swimwear. Probably I would recommend Rosalina Swimwear just based on the hitbox that Antilev had referred to. But he has some nice options for Karts. I think you're probably going to use the off-roader, but in the odd chance you're not, Cactex is released at level 3, or unlocked at level 3. Green Circuit, this is one we were referring to earlier, unlocked at level 3. Still Driver, level 6. Egg 1, level 6. And then you got some options for gliders. New Year's 2020, level 3. Star Spangled Glider, level 3. And Eggshell Glider, number 3. And then for Rainbow Road, this is the one that you'd unlock with Steel Driver. And then you got the Toe Beam Balloons at level 6. So for rank this week, Antilev, any of these stick out for you?
Yeah, like for me, the Toe Beam Balloons is one that I've got level 6. I'm thinking about taking it to level 7, just because it's 3 times in ranked. I have a level 1 Yoshi Kangaroo, and it might finally be time to. It might be his time. We'll see. On my free-to-play account, I'll be trying to take Gold Koopa from level 3 to level 4 to get those red coins. He's in there twice. I don't know if we'll be able to manage it for this week, but I'll be able to get the second ticket next week. Other than that, I don't really plan a lot of heavy investments to get these unlocks now.
All right. Well, going into week 2, we got a lot of options for Sunset Wilds RT. This is one you're referring to. Yoshi Kangaroo could be really, really good for you. He might be your best option. But of course, you're probably going to have Yellow Pit Toad ready to go. Level 3, he's unlocking that track. Perfect for ranked, as we referred to earlier. And then you got Pink Yoshi, another super, having access to that too. Builder Toadette, level 3. So a couple options there for drivers at Sunset Wilds. I'll be hopefully flexing the Yoshi Kangaroo. For unlockables, carts on that track, you get the Cucumber at level 1. Actually, I probably shouldn't have. Oh, I guess Cucumber is super. Is that why it's on there? Maybe.
Yeah.
Cactar level 3, Yellow Off-Roader level 3, Pink Dozer level 6. So definitely the Pink Dozer will be key for that. And then you got a couple gliders. Black Rate Sail is probably the way to go, level 6. And then you get the Gold New Year's Kite level 3. For Toad Circuit RT, you got Gold Koopa Free Running. Definitely one that you're probably going to be wanting to look at for level 3 on that track. And then Toadette, you get level 3. Obviously, anytime you have the super, it's definitely going to be more of a free-to-play option there for you. As for the carts, we got Bad Wagon at level 3. We have the Jingle Bells level 3, Sports Coupe level 6, Bitty Buggy level 6. definitely take a look at that Biddy Buggy. You might be able to throw some tickets on that if you don't already have it at level 7. But take a look at that. Then you have the Gift Glider, level 3, Safety Glider, level 3, and then the question mark block. Definitely one to take note of, level 6 there. And then for Ghost Valley 1RT, not a lot of options. This Cactar coming in clutch with unlocking it at level 6. So, Antilev, what are your thoughts on these ranked tracks and which ones get unlocked?
Only one point I want to make on Sunset Wild RT. We do have one mid-shelf coin box driver. Pink Gold Peach is mid-shelf there, so it is a viable boombox track without too much setup. So if you're thinking about getting Yoshi, if you're getting bounced to the level 6, it might be a good time for it. Otherwise, nothing else really to mention.
Love it, man. Well, Antilev, we've done it, man. You got through it. The first rundown where you've joined me, I really appreciate you taking the 2.5 hours in the middle of the night there to join. What'd you think?
Yeah, I feel like I talked too much. It's like it shouldn't have been so long, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, well, I'm glad that you were able to join us, and really would hope to have you again in the future. But thank you for taking the time and adding your insights. I think you left a lot of people with some memorable advice, and hopefully you can take a look at it. Antilev's been a part of a lot of resources. In fact, he was one that really spearheaded the Action Count Heatmap on the All Cup ranking spreadsheet. He does a variation of the Bam and Gerbs, I believe, as well. I think just an awesome person who puts time and energy into this community. So, Antilev, thank you so much for joining us. For those who haven't liked or subscribed, please do so now. I would really appreciate that. Take a look at our memberships. And Antilev, what would you like to say to your fans?
Tune in next week, I guess, or next tour. Let's see.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Thank you, the viewers, for watching us. Feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. Let Antilev know if he did a good job or not. I would love to see some support in there. But thank you guys for the time today. And until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you guys. Bye.